much larger population. Cities that have been perhaps growing outwards into suburbia have had a longer and longer commute, and it's become a breaking point where people are no longer actually able to make the commute and aren't willing to make the commute. And so we're seeing a change in the density of housing. Or perhaps you don't want to live with a huge mortgage and you're willing to travel out and live in one of these Evocities where a family home is significantly cheaper than suburbs, even in outer suburbs of Sydney.
Evocities is an initiative put together by 7 regional councils in Albury, Armidale, Bathurst, Dubbo, Orange, Tamworth and Wagga Wagga. And what these centres have in common is housing which is much, much cheaper than Sydney pricing. They're all places that want to attract people from Sydney to make the move, make the tree change, you might say. So what they've done is put together an initiative where they've pulled their resources and they've come up with this website, Evocities Regional City Living. This website is quite sophisticated and very powerful in that it looks at and has links to many, many different aspects of living in regional areas. So for example, they've worked with local businesses, and you can look for jobs on this website, and they've got initiatives for people taking jobs for people from Sydney, call it Evo Jobs. They've got property listings, so they've worked with local real estate, and they've got real estate there so that you can look up and do a search in Evocities for different types of housing. They've also asked each of the regional cities to come up with kind of the best of the best about what's like living in that city, where you've got lifestyle with different restaurants, places for entertainment, arts and culture. You've also got education so that parents can look at and find out about the schools and the universities and the tertiary TAFE city campuses that you find in your regional city. On top of that, they've got resources if you own a business. Things like what resources would be available to you if you were to set up a business, a link to the business chamber, Albury Northside Chamber of Commerce, and information about what is available and what sectors thrive in that area. It's a really professionally put together website. It shows testimonies from people who have made the move, and it's really quite holistic in where they're trying to promote their city. And it's this idea that Sydney may have some great things, but so do these regional centres. And moving to one of these will not only put you up for a lot less money than if you're buying property in Sydney, but also it's actually a great place to live. So this initiative's been going for quite a while, and it's quite a multifaceted approach to try and entice people to move out to regional centres, which obviously alleviates the population issue of Sydney, but more importantly, it's great for these regional centres to encourage well-educated, already set up families to move out to their regional cities.
And so maybe you're willing to not have the major infrastructure that Sydney has, or maybe you're willing to live further away from family and friends where you grew up because your partner and yourself have decided that you don't want to live with as much debt, so you're willing for your family to grow up in these major regional centres. Mind you, as those centres grow up, the infrastructure is improving, and many of those towns and mini cities, which they're becoming, are much better planned than Sydney is, and developers are using those kind of Evocities, they're called, to try and improve the problem that we have in Sydney with overdevelopment, with overpopulation, making it difficult to